G'day, it's Eric Frankenheim, and here's the next reflection from my book, Reflections on Classroom Thinking Strategies. The title is The Tyranny of the. It's also to be found in my ebook, Cartoon Conversations. And it involves this strange little looking aeroplane. More about that later. 1989, I was consultant for Gifted and Talented in Central Queensland, and I went to the World Conference on Gifted and Talented in Sydney. It was a fantastic 5 days. Paul MacCready is the man who ended this conference, and he's the man who invented the Gossamer Albatross. And he talked a great deal about the tyranny of the and how dangerous it is in critical and creative and even cooperative thinking. What happened is he'd won a tournament or a competition to build a man-powered aeroplane. And he called it the Gossamer Albatross. Now, he wasn't boastful, but he explained to us the reason why all the other aeronautical engineers who'd competed and why they had failed, because they'd all tried to build the aeroplane in the way it was always built, in the traditional, the orthodox way. And this, of course, meant with the big wings at the front and the small wings at the back. But as an inventor, he wanted to think differently. So he came up with a different idea. Now, it's not this idea, of course, because that one ended in tears. But here it is. It is the Gossamer Albatross. And what he actually did was to totally redesign the way the aeroplane looked. And in fact, if you see from left to right, the plane's going to the right. So he's got the small wings at the front and the big wings at the back. And what he said was that this made it twice as easy or half as difficult to take off. Here's another view of it in a cartoon style from my book. A very fit phys ed teacher cycling and pedaling with a propeller at the back and even flew it across the British Channel. So he said to us, the reason why they failed is because they were conventional. And he said, but it's more than that. It's their language. You think about this, he said. He said, you teachers, you lecturers, you sports people, you business people, to what extent do you actually use the word the in your environments? When you ask people, what is the answer, the solution, there's a singularity to the answer. And if people aren't sure, they will stop it. They will stop thinking. They'll do anything but look at you. Right? They will look at the carpet rather see if there's a pattern, because they are disengaged. They're not sure what the answer is. And so that weekend I came up with what I called the common thinking rule. It was quite simple, really. I was quite inspired by him. So I said, from now on, when I ask questions, I'm not going to put a full stop and ask another question. So when I ask a question, I say, comma. And I encourage the people with me to come up with another answer, comma, another answer, because I want as many responses as possible. What he said, to repeat, is instead of saying, what is the problem, what is the solution, what is the idea, what's the answer, and you might not even be stressing the word the, you're just saying, what is the problem, singular. He said, reframe the way you ask questions. So we could get rid of the tyranny of the. We could encourage the common thinking rule by asking questions like this. What are all the possible problems? What are all the possible solutions? What are all the possible ideas, etc.? In this way, we engage more people. And through engaging more people, we all own the learning environment. Thanks for listening. Eric Frankenheim, Rodan Education Consultancy.